Have you ever seen a black boy smile? Have you ever experienced a brown boy's joy? We are a beautiful human. We are loved. All of us. We simply are.
Hi, I'm Joseph Johnson. I'm currently in the 10th grade at Impact Academy Arts and Technology High School. I'm with the Hidden Genius Project, and today we're supporting Mentoring California by having you, a mentor, interviewing you on how we could change the educational system for young men of color.
Yeah. My name is Glenn Ivory. I am a senior at Patton Academy of Christian Education. I am also a part of the Hidden Genius Project. I finished my 15 months and now I'm a YE. And so, yes, like he said, we're partnering with Mentorship California, working on an equity plan for the school systems where we can really touch and change the lives of Black male youth in our school systems. So, can you introduce yourself and tell us who you are? A little bit about
Yeah, my name is Eugene Lemon from Oakland, California. Grew up in Oakland School, graduated from Pasadena High School, and retired from teaching in 2012. I taught 20 years. I taught math when I first started, and then I taught computer science the last part. The last 8 years, I've taught at all the type of education facilities.
That's amazing. Thank you. So pretty much we just have a few questions. We want to pick your brain and learn and receive some of the jewels that you've learned and experienced while on this road mentoring. So our first question is, what does it mean to put youth at the forefront of your work, and how can you actually give a youth their voice?
I mean, that's the program I work with, the Hidden Genius Project. We work with Black males. The Hidden Genius Project trains and mentors Black male youth in technology creation, entrepreneurship, leadership skills to transform their lives, their communities. So I taught for 20 years and I quit teaching when one individual responsible for my salary stuff told me that, why we can't pay you anymore because there's no jobs in computer science. This is in 2012, somebody told me that there's no jobs in computer science. So then I just started, I know, okay, I got to work with these youngsters as much as I possibly can. And I started doing hackathons and stuff. So my thing is to, when I was teaching, work with the youngsters, especially the Hidden Genius Project, we try to get to the youngster where he is right now, his abilities and stuff, and try to take him where he's able to go to.
And then another question is there a word, phrase, or lesson that was shared with you that inspired you on this journey of mentoring?
I think there's a late computer scientist, Randy Pausch. Randy Pausch. He did a video called The Last Lecture, and it was a great video. You'll get a chance to watch it. He was dying of pancreatic cancer. He did his lecture. I was seeing you, Carnegie Mellon University. And one of the things that he stated in the video was if you're working with somebody right now and they're not doing well, just give them time and they'll get better.
Right.
So that's remember James Green, right?
Yeah.
How great James Green is now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he was not that great when he came in with us and stuff, but we worked with him, for a year and a half or so. Now he's one of our stars.
Right. And with that being said, we want to know, who is your mentor?
Oh, who was my mentor? Okay. That's a great one. You know how old I am, right? I've had a number of different mentors. Okay. I would say, okay, this is a story, all right? Another one of my stories. I'm not mentioning my 11th grade algebra teacher. like I said, I wanted to have fun, okay? And so I had a relatively high math aptitude. So, but when I go to school and go to class, I cut up in the classrooms. I finish all the work. I never took any books home. I never did any homework, but I could take the test and pass the test. And I had good memory, so I didn't have to take notes. I pass all the tests. So I come home with a C average. That's all I had to come home for from my father. Anything less than a C, it was an issue. But I didn't try to do anything, just to have fun. And so my math skills was really high, but I didn't get algebra until the 12th grade of high school. No, I didn't get no chemistry, no physics, no physical science, none of that stuff. I would have kicked butt in all those classes if they would just give it to me. I didn't care. I just wanted to go to school and have fun. That was it. So when I got in the 12th grade, this new teacher, she was a brand new teacher, Mrs. Sarton, and this was her first year teaching, and she grew up. Her father owned a shoe store in Brookfield. You guys know Brookfield Village? Okay, Brookfield Village when I was growing up was predominantly black. So she grew up around a large number of black kids, so she was not afraid of blacks. All right, so like I said, in that class, I started cutting up. I finished all the work and stuff and started cutting up. So in the back of that classroom was we're talking about 1964, 1965. So in the back of that classroom was like a teletype machine that was connected up to some computer somewhere, I don't know where. All right, and she said, you mess around. Why don't you go back there? And she let me go back to that machine and use that computer. And that's what got me started in thinking about computers and stuff. That was in 65 to 64. So now, the reason I work with you youngsters, not volunteering, I'm getting paid. But the reason I work with you youngsters and your program has to do with something similar to that situation, because that was in 64, but I don't know, about 4 or 5 years after that, there was some other guys up in Washington who did the same thing with the machine. I remember playing tic-tac-toe on that particular machine. I was happy I could beat the machine playing tic-tac-toe. But like I said, 4 or 5 years later, a couple other guys in the state of Washington doing the same thing, but they were at a private school, a Catholic school, and the nuns saw, oh, they're doing something with computer science. Let's bring somebody in to start working with these guys and have them do something. One of them got to be so good, he was in the 8th grade, so he was able to write a computer program to do the class setup for people in the classroom, so you had to make sure you got all the classes the pretty girls was and stuff, right? And then they did other stuff, but they brought people from outside to work with them. And the rest is history. That was Bill Gates and Paul Allen. Wow. They got started in the same way I got started, but I was in the 12th grade at Councilman High School in 1965, and they went in 8th grade, maybe 70, 60, 68, right around there. And people came in from outside and worked with them, and they started coding. So that's why I do what I do for you guys, okay?
Another question is, what sparked the light on your road of mentorship?
What sparked the light, this is another story, okay? Like, remember, I'm 75 years old. I just met my birthday a few days ago, okay? I go way back, all right? There's a lot of stuff I've experienced in my life, okay? This one has to do with, my nephew is a filmmaker. I got a nephew who's a filmmaker. And he made film, and he used to work at juvenile halls. So this is when I remember our code thing came out. So I wanted to go into juvenile halls and do this our code thing, do that coding practice stuff, juvenile halls. Because I've always wanted to go off in the juvenile halls and work with the kids inside the juvenile halls. And he would actually went to San Francisco to work with the kids in San Francisco. So, and like I said, I've been knowing this youngster all his life. I should take him and my grandson to preschool. That's how long I've been knowing Brian in the back playing with him. So he's at the front of the room talking to these kids. I came in, he was already there, and he had a group of youngsters there. What he was there for was to let them see his movie that he just made. So I came in, and he was talking to the youngsters. He said, just in time, perfect time. What are you talking about? You know what he said. Come here, tell him your story. And I looked at him. Like I said, I've been knowing this kid all his life. I said, I got a whole bunch of stories. I'm 60-something years old. I was a lot of which one you talking about. So what I didn't realize that he knew about me, that I had been incarcerated before. Okay, that he knew for being incarcerated, I'd started a business, worked with people, with his mom and dad. So what I believe was happening, his mom and father at dinner tables was talking to this kid about my experience, what I had been through, and what I was doing right now. Blah, blah, blah. So I was like his mentor. Wow. But what he wanted me to talk to, one of the kids in the group had said, we just got arrested. We can't do anything. He said, that's where he said, perfect time. tell him your story, tell him your story, tell him your story. In other words, I was a teacher, but I was a drug dealer, drug smuggler. Okay, now I was teaching. So how did that come about? You know, I changed. Okay, so, but I realized at that time I was like his mentor.
Wow.
And then I thought about it. Then I started. My daughter did something once. I used to own a video store. This is when I was released. Okay, I couldn't get a job anywhere, so I started a video store in East Oakland. And my daughter worked there, and a whole bunch of kids started working. That's when I started working with young kids and stuff. This video store. So this was years after we shut it down. But she's on Facebook. I don't mess with Facebook, but she wrote something about Facebook about my mother and father did a video store, blah, 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 right? And everybody that worked at that video store responded to that Facebook thing. And it was all comments about what it was like working at the video store, what they got from me, what they learned from me about the business. All of them had their own businesses. They did all kinds of different stuff. So I saved it. That's about the only thing I've ever commented on before on Facebook was that all those comments stuff that they had made. So that's when I realized that I was going to be considered a mentor. But before that, you know, it never even came to me. I like having fun, and kids like having fun. Okay, so I make sure they have fun.
It's powerful how you mentored him without even saying a word to him about what he felt encouraged by. And so just your testimony alone, just how you live your life can be a mentor or it can be something that pushed someone forward. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Definitely. So our final question, we've loved this time with you, BaBa. We thank you for this. Our final question is, past our school boards, past these type of interviews, past just sitting down and having conversations, what has to systematically change for our Black young men of color? Okay, so my experience with I started teaching math, I think in 19, but I always wanted to teach computer science. I mean, teach computers, coding, that kind of stuff, right? But back in the 90s, there was nobody teaching computer science anywhere in the country. They didn't really get started until around 2000. So my thing is read the question one more time. So what has to systematically change for a young man?
All right, okay. So what I did was I joined. In the early 2000s or so, that's when people started saying we got to get youngsters to start taking computer science. So this organization got started, CSTA, and then I'm known throughout the country when it comes to K-12 computer science education because I've been doing it since the early 90s or so. So people, plus I'm Black, and there ain't very many Blacks doing it. So they hate that I'm great doing what I'm doing. It's just that it's not that many of us. So I represented it. So I'm known. I mean, I've been on the college board when they developed the AP computer science course and all of that. But one more time, the course, it slipped my mind again. I got off.
No worries. What has to systematically change for a young man?
The way, part of the thing we had to do, I was on this committee called CSDA Leadership Advocacy Team. And this was in 2005 or so. We were tasked with going back to our school districts and stuff and advocating for computer science. Going to the meetings to get computer science to come into the different school districts and stuff, right? So when I told you when I was in school, I never did get the class I was supposed to get, based on my abilities. So I made a comment at the school board. I said, two comments I made. First one was, I got a great grandson that was just born. He can start school in kindergarten next year and go from kindergarten to the 12th grade and never sit in front of a computer. This is at a school board meeting. And one of the school board directors looked at this other guy, is that right? Is that right? He said, yeah, it was right. So that was one big thing, all right? Remember, I'm advocating for computer science to be brought to the school district. So the other thing was, I said, I got a good education in Oakland coming to school. All right, I got a good education, all right? But I didn't get the education that I deserved.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because like I said, because of my abilities, what I was able to do and capable of doing, I never talked to a counselor about any classes. Nobody, the whole time I was in school, there was not one time any person at the school, actually nobody basically ever talked to me about going to college.
Mm-hmm.
That one time, and I can read you take your standardized tests and stuff. I can read my standardized test scores. I was an 80, 85, 90, 95 percentile on all my stuff. So I knew what my abilities was, but what did I say? I wanted to go to school, have fun. That was it.
Right.
Good.
With that being said, you say you didn't get the education that you deserve, right? How can teachers and staff members now provide that education that all young male of color deserve?
Pay attention.
Right.
There's one youngster, okay, he wants to get out of the program now, because we're not challenging him. Okay, I didn't know anything about him, but all the staff members said he's right. You know, this kid they say he's a prodigy. I don't know if he's a prodigy or not. I don't know. Okay, but that's what they're saying. So, like I said, all my experience and things that I've been doing all across the country since the 90s or so, I know everybody. So I worked with University of California instruction stuff. We was developing a course that was going to be the AP course at high schools and stuff. And so I know the professors there. So I said, let me talk to this kid. And then my conversation with him, I said, yeah, he's pretty sharp. So, but he wants to get out of he actually turned his computer back in. He was getting out of the program because our program was not challenging for him. And he's right. So what I did is, I'm working with him right now. So I hooked up with one of the professors who retired at UC Berkeley that I work with. So I'm at his professor, talk to this kid and see exactly where he is, what his skills are. Okay, and the kid really likes coding and stuff. And this professor, he's a well-known nationally, he's like I said, retired, but computer science who developed a programming language. And then the other thing is to get this kid in some kind of little program. So another contact that I have, contact somebody at UCLA, and if this hasn't come to fruition, I don't know if it's going to come to, but to meet somebody down there to try to get this kid into a research kind of program and stuff. Okay, but we have to reach, and I was probably the only person who was able to do that because of my contacts and stuff within the organization. But he wanted to get out of the program. And I've been working with the last week or so. He's still with us. And we'll see if we can keep him with it. But no, he's sharp. Yeah. He could be a prodigy. But his skills is beyond anybody in our program, YAs, instructors, everybody. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's way out there.
And if you weren't willing to take that initiative, could have just said, we have our curriculum, if you don't want to be a part of it.
The other thing, where he needs us, though, is the leadership point.
And then, to wrap it up, do you have any advice for any young men of color out there?
Be aware of the choices that you make.
Right.
Okay. Because, it's that year of opportunity cost. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, because you got that entrepreneur class, right? Yeah. Entrepreneur. Yeah. So you know about that. Opportunity cost. Be conscious of your choices. Think about choices that you may make. Like me, like I said, I ended up in trouble and stuff. Bad choice. I can't say if I'd have did something differently, I would be much better off than I am right now. I don't really know, but I'm living with the choices that I actually made. So I think I'm doing okay.
And so you are. You're one of our best mentors at Hidden Gems, and really appreciate your time here today. And getting interviewed by Mr. California.
All right. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. You guys did okay.
Thank you, Bob. We learned from the best.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Hey. Yeah, okay. Sunshine in my eyes, melanin shine bright. Elephant in the light. I be taking big steps on a rope that's tight. That's life when you nice and you trying to reach heights that you never been. Can't stay down long when you haven't sent. And that's word to the bones in the sediment. Be the truth, be the light, be the medicine. We ain't settling.
Black like I'm Huey Freeman, don't hang with Uncle Ruckus. I've seen a couple brothers fall when they abuse a substance, but this music is the only high I need. And I love to see the ladies smile, showing off their teeth. Got a strong sense of character, the type you want to lead. Follow as I journey down my yellow brick road. No, I do not need a wizard, keep my wishes simple. Since a kid I know my power multiplied like tenfold.
And we the kings, land of the dollar and the dream. Man up, you follow where you lead. Drink your water, you will see. Grow when you find what you need. Open